Alright, this is Crush Equity, and this is my weight loss journey. I started in November 2023 at 546 pounds, and as of today, July 7th or 8th, whatever it is, 2025, I'm about 450-ish pounds. My goal was to lose 250 plus pounds within a year. Obviously, I failed. I'm making this video because, to be honest, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm doing this on the cuff. I'm learning all this shit on my own. I'm doing this on my own. There's literally no one in my real life to talk to about this. I'm just trying to work through and overcome, 36 years of mental programming. I don't know why, but even for the first 9 years of my life, when I grew up out in the woods in Alaska, and I was always outside running around, at the end of the day, I was still lazy. I remember, 5, 6, 7 years old. For example, there was a really beautiful lake during the summer. We used to go swimming, my sister and I, during the summer. And it was about a mile and a half, 2 miles away. And I was so lazy that, even we'd have bikes, I'd riding the bike. As soon as we got down the street a little bit, because Dad or Mom wouldn't drive us there, I'd ditch my bike in the fucking woods and I'd hitchhike. Or I was always outside playing, but in any situation that I could, I would take the easy way, or the lazy way. And that's just how I've always been, for whatever reason. That just seems to be a personality trait I was born with, as long as I can remember. And I'm trying to overcome that. And you can see, I'm massive, and I've been massive my whole life. There was one short period till I was about 3.5 years old. To where I was skinny. I was still tall. For example, my shoulders were wider than my legs were long when I was a toddler. When I was like 6 months years old, I was wearing 2-year-old clothes, and for example, I was 7, 8 years old. I was a size 42 waist. I don't know how tall, like 5 something, and over 200 pounds. But yet I was always out. I would be outside 8, 10, 12 hours or longer a day playing, walking God knows how many miles, riding 4-wheelers, riding bikes. This is out in the Alaska woods, no electricity. We had electricity, and we had water at this point. For 4 years, over 4 years, we didn't even have water. And even still, our water was just a well, and we just had one spout coming out of the ground. There was no plumbing. The cabin I grew up in was only 8 feet by 10 feet. I used to sleep on a slab of plywood right above where my mom and dad slept, which was like a full-size bed on a sheet of plywood. My sister stayed in a trailer, like an old camper trailer, I don't know, like 50 feet from the little cabin. And at least that's how I grew up until I was 9. And then a bunch of shit happened, and I'll talk about that at some other point, but that's irrelevant for right now. Even though at some point I need to talk about it, because that actually had as much, if not more, of what happened from 9 to 18 probably had more of an impact on my life than the time as a kid did. So throughout these videos, or whenever I'm referring to when I grew up, or Alaska and all that, that's from 3 years old to 9. So I'm just making this video because obviously I'm struggling, you know, and I think it's easy to troll me. And it's easy to troll me because I have been so confident and probably seemingly arrogant. You know, and that's fine. That's why I don't really care. Like I said in my last video, that was the first and only time the trolls actually really got to me. And I explained why. I'm not going to repeat myself. The goal is still the same. The timeline has just shifted. And I've had to figure a lot of shit out. So I just wanted to explain a little bit of the psychology. So basically, the instant I wake up, I'm fighting the urge to do absolutely nothing. Every instinct in my body tells me to just sit. Turn on the computer, you know, because I don't watch TV or anything. I watch YouTube, or I don't even really play video games anymore. But for some reason, even though I love it, like right now I am loving being out here with my shirt off. I generally love the outdoors. Of course, I'm in town. I want to tell myself if I was out in the country somewhere, I would be a lot more motivated. But I don't know if how much of that's bullshit or not. But because to be fair, I've just lived with the basic necessities basically my whole life. I've always had what I needed, and I never really cared or strove to anything more than that. Because I generally just didn't care. As long as I had transportation, a roof over my head, and a computer and internet, that's literally all I cared about. I mean, if I didn't need it for the internet nowadays, I wouldn't even necessarily care about a phone. You know, I can go weeks without talking to anybody and be just fine. Big part of that is I spent so much time alone as a kid that I'm just very comfortable being alone. Even though I think my nature, I was a naturally social person once I warmed up. I mean, I was always very shy. For example, I still remember the first day of kindergarten, I was scared shitless. But within 2 or 3 days, it was fine. And I had my little group of friends that I hung out with for the 3 years I was at that elementary before everything happened. But I don't know why, but from the moment I wake up, my brain is just coming up with excuses after excuses on why not to do anything, exercise or moving at all. Like, it's something. So there's something programmed in there, some kind of survival mechanism. And ironically, I was very hyper all throughout a kid. That's one reason I smoked cigarettes for so long. Cigarettes were a tranquilizer for me. They literally tranquilized me. They kept me calm, especially, you know, in my early years as an adult. From 21 to like 25, 26 especially, you know, that was a volatile time. The point is throughout my life, I've lived in the past and I've lived in the future. You know, I was very bitter and angry for a long time about my past, and that blinded me to the opportunity I had in the moment. And I was also crippled by the fear of the future. I've never been able to just be present. So, for whatever happens the next 5 months, that is what I'm going to focus on. So that's what I'm going to focus on for the next 5 months. Above all else, is just day by day, giving an honest effort each and every day. And I'm going to define that with a simple list. As long as I do everything on this list each day, I gave an honest effort. All right, let's do a quick weigh-in so people don't think I gained a bunch of weight.
Hello.
Hello.
It's ready.
Forgot to turn the Twitch on.
447.2.
Basically, like, I mean, the same few pounds. That's going to fluctuate day by day for me. So I didn't work out or anything for the last couple weeks because obviously only one person donated to the GoFundMe, which I much appreciate, and I understand why no one else did. But I had to do what I had to do, and I mean, just I didn't feel like working out on top of all that. So because it's only 4 to 6 hours minimum to accomplish it. I walk every day, even Sundays, except Sundays, it can be as little as 10 minutes, but I need to walk every day. Every other day, at least an hour. So that's number one. Number two is I work out at least 3 times a week. At least one push-pull leg workout a week. Just enough to stimulate and maintain muscle. The cardio is where I'm going to really burn the fat. Number three. And then number three is going to be streaming at least 6 times a week for 4 hours. I am going to allow myself one day off if I want from streaming. Just because, yeah. And then number 4 is I'm going to do at least one IRL thing in the public. Well, that's going bowling. Well, that's vlogging, walking around the mall. Or I haven't even been to a mall in probably 10 years. I don't know. Well, I went to it a couple times with work, but yeah. So I don't know. There's not really any clubs or anything around me, unfortunately. There's just bars, and I'm not going to go into a bar, especially with a camera. So that's the one thing that I'm not going to be, is if I do everything else for the whole week, except that, I'll still consider that an honest effort. So, but in any case, and then lastly, strict ketovore. And there is the list right by my head while I sit and sleep. If I can do all those things for the next 5 months, my entire life will change. That I will never have done anything close to that. Save, and other than that, the only time I've done anything remotely close to that is where I stuck to my base workout split for like the first 8 months of this journey. Even though I didn't do cardio a lot of the time, I didn't lose that much weight because of it. I did stick with that base split, and actually, as y'all have seen, built a decent amount of muscle. You know, good 10 pounds at least. You know, so all I know is that list is 100% doable. It is absolutely realistic. And within 5 months of doing that, my life is going to change. Like this big fat motherfucker's Chase got to eat my ass. Oh, shit. Don't worry, geese. I'm not going to eat you. So anyways, bros, that's the goal. That's the gist of it. We're 26 minutes into this walk. So I'm going to go a little further, turn around. And then I'll upload this probably later today. And, of course, the full length of this will be starting when I get back from my sister's, because I'm not going to try and make myself stream every day while I'm at my sister's. But I will be walking and doing doing the 3 workouts, you know, and sticking to the diet. Those 3 things I will continue to do, but streaming will 100% be optional. It's a small house, but I will probably be doing some IRL stuff, and, you know, I don't know, but so there's that. So I know y'all have been hearing me talk about it for the last year, and there's a big, you know, streaming is very intimidating, because like I said, I can go weeks without talking to anybody and be just fine. So You know, I don't know how it's going to. So there's a part of me that's really nervous about doing the streaming, because sitting there trying to hold a conversation and just talk for 4 hours even sounds exhausting, much less 8-10 hours. And no one wants to watch someone that's just sitting there playing a game or whatever in silence. So, but I know that's the future, and I know it'll be good for me. You know, so there's the plan, and that's, yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope y'all got something from that, and maybe y'all understand a little more. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just explaining shit. But all right, y'all. It's Crush Equity. Appreciate y'all. Peace. I just realized I had a chunk of egg yolk sitting here the whole damn time. Yeah, I did have some breakfast. I had 5 eggs and like 12 ounces of lean sirloin steak. So that's what that was from. Oh, shit.